Thanks very much. Welcome to BBC London. Coming up on the programme. Why it's not back to school for hundreds of pupils at a South London primary after fire damaged the building.
Yes, it has been challenging, but as a school community, we're very tight-knit. And I think what's been so brilliant is the parents have really rallied around.
Also ahead tonight, students living with older generations to help tackle loneliness. Could we see more of this in London? Plus, platforms only accessible via stairs. Wheelchair users are upset. Plans to make Peckham Rye Station step-free are shelved. And how one of the capital's oldest art galleries is trying to tempt the youngest of audiences. Hello and good evening to you. It's the first day back to school for many children right across the capital, but not for hundreds of pupils at a primary in South London. There, the playground and classrooms are empty after a fire over the bank holiday weekend destroyed part of the roof, and pupils are unable to return to the site until the new year. From Streatham, Chris Legg has the story.
Damage caused by fire in the early hours of August the 23rd at Julian's Primary School in Streatham. 10 fire engines and 70 firefighters attended the blaze, which London Fire Brigade is treating as accidental. For the pupils here, there was no chance of going back to school today. Julian's Primary should be buzzing with first day of term energy today, but it stands quiet. For now, the children have no school at all, and on Friday parents were told they won't be able to return here until after Christmas, causing huge inconvenience and to some considerable childcare costs too. 6-year-old Monty should have been starting year 2 today. Instead, mum Isabella was having to look after him.
It's supposed to be school day, but it's not, so I have to organise the day for Monty. Rather than watching TV, we would like to do something. However, I still need to do some work and I still need to do my own things. So it's very difficult.
Ooh. Parents have been told that for next week at least there will be no school to go to. Beyond that, the council is trying to find an alternative site where the children can be educated until the new year. Another parent affected is Emma.
Yes, it has been challenging, but as a school community, we're very tight-knit. And I think what's been so brilliant is the parents have really rallied around during this time to help each other.
Lambeth Council told us
the council is working closely with the school to identify an alternative site that can be used on a temporary basis. We expect to provide an update on the new site by the end of this week. Additionally, we are exploring options to support transport arrangements once the new site is confirmed.
At Julian's Primary Streatham, school's out for some time yet. Chris Legg, BBC London.
Thanks for being with us. Lots more ahead tonight, including...
I'm at the new Play Pavilion, which is part of London's oldest purpose-built art gallery, Dulwich Picture Gallery, which takes inspiration from the old masters hanging up inside.
Latest figures from the Mayor's office show London has recorded the fewest number of homicides across the summer months since 2018, and none were under 25. It comes as London Assembly members discussed Met budget cuts could affect policing in London, including the scrapping of officers in schools. Our political editor Carl Mercer is here and can tell us more. Hi Carl. Shall we start with the positive news and those homicide figures?
Yeah, interesting they're coming out. We don't normally get them in August, but I think because they are so encouraging, that's why we're getting them from City Hall today. And if we have a look at the graphics of what's actually going on, last year 78 people had died by this time this year, and now this year we're down to 58, so a significant improvement there. Look at the under 25s. There were 26 homicides last year in the under 25s. That's fallen to 10 this year, so again a big improvement. And then the saddest statistic, which we always report as well, teenagers who've died, 9 by this time last year and then 4 this year. And people will say just 4, but important to realise they are children who are dying. The question will be, of course, encouraging though these are, can these things be kept up given the current cuts facing City Hall and the Met Police? Something I put to the head of London's Violence Reduction Unit.
What we're trying to get to is a long-term investment package for how we reduce violence across London, and a lot of that has to also be around early intervention and prevention. We know that violence costs us about £3 million a day in London, and really a slice of that going towards prevention could have big impact, and that's what I think we're seeing the impact of today. Of course, the Met are a key partner in that, and we do want to see the Met adequately funded to ensure that they're there out in the neighbourhoods as well.
So that's the more positive news. That said, there are once again questions raised over the Met's decision to take nearly 400 officers out of schools. Yeah,
it was controversial. Safer Schools officers, they're called. They're based in schools all through the week, so they get to know the pupils. The decision was made to move them out into the new Safer Neighbourhood teams. It came up at the Police and Crime Committee at the London Assembly today, and there was quite a feisty exchange between a South London head teacher and the Met officer in charge of the scheme.
I think it is the single most catastrophic decision in keeping children safe in the last 10 years of my professional experience. I am crushed by it personally, and at a loss as to explain how it's happened. And I'm on all the panels. I don't feel, I have confirmed, and the person who's going to sit in my chair next, you can ask, that no consultation was done on this decision.
This is not a cost saving, and if it was cost saving, we would have deleted the posts and we wouldn't have had 371 posts transferred from one role to another. But it is about delivering policing for the benefit of young people differently, and not having people embedded in schools 5 days a week where they're not visible to the wider community or to some of the other bits that I talked about at weekends, in the evenings, when young people equally is unsafe.
Yeah, an indication, I think, of the arguments that we are going to see more of over the coming weeks, but also an indication of the difficulty of keeping Londoners safe.
Yeah. Carl, for now, thank you. Our political editor, Carl Mercer there. OK, let's take a brief look at some of the day's other news now. Talks today to avert a planned 5-day tube strike by members of the RMT union have broken down with no agreement. The action is due from Sunday to next Thursday in a dispute over pay and hours. A driver has appeared in court charged with failing to stop at the scene of a crash that killed a brother and sister who were riding an e-scooter. 16-year-old Roman Caselden and his 9-year-old sister Darcy died after they were struck by a car in Pitsea near Basildon in February. Security staff at the Houses of Parliament walked out today in a row over pay and conditions, with hundreds of union members taking part in the dispute. A Parliament spokesperson said it is a disappointing outcome following months of engagement. Now, just imagine what should be a short train journey taking hours. That's assuming, of course, you can get to the platform in the first place. That's what some wheelchair users face at one of the country's busiest rail interchange stations, because platforms are only accessible via stairs. What's more, now plans to make Peckham Rye step-free have been postponed indefinitely after government funding was withdrawn. Freddie Tennyson has been hearing from some of the Londoners affected.
Peckham Rye station is a key link for commuters in southeast London, connecting them across the capital. But its platforms are only accessible by stairs, and Network Rail plans to install lifts have been put on hold after the government pulled funding. For wheelchair users like Nathan, that means a short trip across London can turn into a journey lasting hours.
Daily life for me is I work in East London, like I say, so for me to get there, with the lack of accessibility at stations, it's crazy. Like, I finish work at like midnight, 1 a.m. sometimes. By the time I get home, it can be 3, 4 a.m. Whereas if I had an accessible station to use, I could be home in 45 minutes and then not be shut over the next day, not be in pain and not have to go to work. And it gets to the point of sometimes being like, am I better off on benefits?
Cool, come down.
And it's not just Nathan. Terry's wife started using a wheelchair 2 years ago. He says the station's inaccessibility has left them isolated.
If we go out to shop and she has to walk very far, yes, we have to take a wheelchair, which we used to use when we used to go to Bromley shopping, but we can't get up the stairs at Peckham Rye Station. So we now have to take a cab, which costs £70 return, just to go 1 day shopping. But have you tried carrying a heavy wheelchair up the stairs with a person in it? Impossible.
Peckham Rye is said to be the busiest interchange station in the UK without step-free access. Just getting to this platform alone took me 2 flights of stairs. But despite this, the Department of Transport has said it's prioritising projects that it believes delivers the greatest benefit to passengers and economic growth, leaving this station's upgrade on hold. The original plans would have opened up the back of the station, added a new entrance and installed lifts to make every platform step-free. Southwark Council's separate plans to improve the station frontage are still going ahead. Network Rail says it will continue to work closely with the Department for Transport on future developments at Peckham Rye, while the government said it will keep the scheme under review for future funding. So for now, Peckham Rye's platforms remain out of reach for passengers like Nathan. Freddie Tennyson, BBC London.
It's a fact of life that for many of us, as we get older, our interactions with others shrink. In fact, older people in London are more likely than the rest of the UK to say they are often lonely. Well, one project in South East London aims to tackle this. It's one of the country's first intergeneration housing projects, which sees students living alongside residents aged over 55. In exchange for running activities and lending a hand, the students benefit from reduced rent. Our work and money correspondent Megan Owen reports from Lewisham.
Living alongside a group of grandparents isn't your typical student digs. But for 28-year-old postgrad Morley and his 60-year-old neighbour Claire, it's working pretty well. This community event is organised by one of the first intergenerational housing schemes of its kind. A group of students from the University of Goldsmiths live alongside flats for people over the age of 55.
It's reassuring to know that that we're not just a bunch of old people lumped into a building, that we've also got young people around if we need to call on someone for a little bit of help.
In return for offering company or organising activities like walks, students like Morley are charged a lower rent.
I think initially there is that hesitation because you're living with a different generation, but I think once you start, even within the first week, you realise like it actually means a lot to those individuals, and it means a lot to me too. So I think that initial hurdles is something that as a collective that we maybe need to get over, but I think a lot of people would find it very rewarding.
It's bridged the gap between young and old, but it does come with its quirks.
I was coming home at probably 1 a.m. I was coming from Brighton, it was the whole thing, and someone was up there just waving. I was like, it's nice.
It's so nice.
It's a sweet thing to happen.
Older people in London are the most likely in the UK to say they are often lonely. Almost 1 in 10, the equivalent to 110,000 people, according to Age UK. Phoenix Housing Association, which runs the intergenerational scheme, says an overwhelming number of older residents applied.
This is the first of these schemes in the country. Intergenerational housing is a new idea, but it's really important in breaking down social isolation and building community. And we hope it will be a blueprint for other associations throughout the country.
Claire says she feels less isolated and much safer after living in hostels for the last 10 years.
It was like every night, it was like batten down the hatches and try and stay safe. And oh my days, I'm sorry. It was hard. It was hard.
This must just feel like a sanctuary now for you.
I feel like I've died and gone to heaven. I mean, every morning I wake up and I cannot believe that this is my flat.
These neighbours may be decades apart in age, but living just metres away has cut costs and provided company. Megan Owen, BBC London.
Well, let's have a chat to Savannah Fishel, who is an advocate for communal living and tackling loneliness. Great to have you here. We saw just how much it means to Claire there, not just feeling safer, but rewarding for everyone involved.
Yeah, it's really special to see examples like that, where housing is not just seen as bricks and walls, but social infrastructure that encourages you to be a good neighbour, to come together. And it's really special, and I want to see more of it because the benefits are across all ages.
And the benefits are clear, and we know that we've got an ageing population, not just in London, and social isolation will be a challenge. If things like this, you know, is one of the solutions, do we need to shift our mindset on this in order to make it a reality?
Yeah, absolutely. That's what I think. We have this kind of ideal when it comes to our home, how we live, of nuclear family home ownership as being the only valid aspiration, the only valid thing to aim for. But there's so many valid ways to live, and I think we need to be incentivising creative housing models that bring us together and that are more sustainable as well.
And some might say costly?
Yeah.
More costly?
More affordable often. There's this thing called economies of scale, where if people are coming together, they can often benefit from more shared spaces, share more resources, waste less.
Now, given your research, what can we learn from other countries that realistically can be applied here?
Well, the first thing we can take is hope. There's lots of ways to house, and there's lots of examples all over the world. I think there's a lot of policy shifts, so our planning and our financial kind of systems are set up for traditional family structures. So it's about making it easier for things like shared ownership, for different families to live together in one household. It's now very difficult to do that. But I actually think it's less about the policy and it's about the culture. It's about taking that shift to know that there's lots of ways that we can live together beyond just the nuclear family structures, and it benefits everyone. So I think it's time to be bold and creative with different types of housing.
Practically, I mean, and it sounds, you know, on the face of it, but practically, how difficult is that to do, especially in a city like London, which is, you know, quite a transient population as well?
So there's many different, it's a whole spectrum, so it can start anywhere on the spectrum. So one thing I would say is, with all the houses we're building, are they designed to encourage moments of spontaneous interaction, or are they encouraged to keep us apart so that we don't see our neighbours?
And you would say the latter?
I would say the latter, yes. And how easy is it to do shared ownership when housing is so unaffordable and so difficult? Why aren't we incentivising and making it easier for multiple households to come and buy together? Yeah. Things like that.
Yeah, lots to sort of think about and debate. But for now, Savannah Fishel, thank you so much for joining us. Really appreciate it.
Thank you.
You're watching BBC London. Still to come. Due to play all their home matches at the Emirates Stadium for the first time this season, we get reaction from Arsenal players present and past. Now, did you know that the world's first ever purpose-built public art gallery was here in London? The Dulwich Picture Gallery, stacked with old masters from years gone by, as you can see. But now something new has opened there, an art play pavilion designed to tempt and inspire a younger audience. Alice Bandukravi went to take a look.
Well, this is Rembrandt's Girl at a Window, one of the most famous artworks here at the Dulwich Picture Gallery, which was established more than 200 years ago with one very simple idea, that great art is for sharing. So with that in mind, they've been redeveloping the outside space to attract local schools and families.
This is art which doesn't take itself too seriously. The sculpture Come Slide is one of several new additions to a very old art institution.
This slide is really fun!
3 acres of garden have been redesigned, adding art, landscaping and a play pavilion to the Dulwich Picture Gallery. Road testing it today, youngsters and their families.
It's so much better than I was expecting. We've been to so many things since Ava was born, and this is just the perfect combination of play and fun and creativity.
I think it's absolutely brilliant, really, just to have it in the local area, such a safe space with so much fun stuff. He's been very entertained all morning.
Lots of the design features here are references to some of the famous artworks hanging in the gallery. Take, for instance, Canaletto's bridge, reinvented here, and this soft, cosy cloud swing, referencing this work by Poussin. and the pavilion itself, next door to a John Soane masterpiece.
It's a very humbling experience, designing a new building beside such a famous art gallery, John Soane's masterpiece, the Dulwich Picture Gallery. And some of the ideas were taking measures and clues from John Soane's architecture, but this building has a slightly different purpose and a more public welcome. So it's characterised by the large circular windows and the big canopies that reach out in each direction to create shelter and welcome in the park landscape.
The sensory features inside have been designed for children with special educational needs and disabilities in mind, and there are special offers for locals.
People can book tickets for 0 to 8-year-olds to come, and your ticket is £9. Friends of Dulwich Picture Gallery get a 10% discount, and anybody on Universal Credit gets a £1 ticket. But then we're designating a couple of days each week for local schools, for local state schools and members of the local community to come as families to enjoy this space for free.
Young children will get the most out of this pavilion, but even older people can still have fun.
Right, this is my piece to camera.
Alice Bandukravi, BBC London.
She knows how to have fun. Now, following a summer of extraordinary success, just look at those faces. Arsenal's women's team will play all of their Women's Super League home matches at the Emirates Stadium for the first time this season. John Watson has been speaking to Lionesses Chloe Kelly and Alessia Russo about how important it is for the women's game. And as he explains, things have come a long way since 1988.
I'm at the Arsenal training ground where I'm a regular visitor, normally coaching the goalkeepers, but this morning they've really sprung one upon me.
Arsenal hit the headlines in 1988, the first professional club to sign 2 women to their books, Sarah Ryan and Michelle Curley, who were just 16 years old.
First I thought it was really silly, girls playing football, and they was just going to go out and kick their ankles and scream and shout and that. But then when they see us playing and that, they got used to it.
Did you kick a few back or something?
Yeah.
What do you think of the hairdos then?
Been different to today, eh?
A first in women's football.
It was fantastic. I mean, it was the unknown. We had every newspaper, national newspaper. We had most TV stations was down. You know, and we progressed there to be interviewed by Zig and Zag on Channel 4 back then. Yeah, so that's our claim to fame, you know.
How are you? Enjoy training?
It kick-started what would become a period of sustained success for the women's team. Current players Chloe Kelly and Alessia Russo will take the next step as they, along with their teammates, play all their home games at the club's main stadium, the Emirates, this season.
It's our job to make sure we put a show on the pitch and keep delivering, and the fans to get out and support the teams throughout the whole WSL, not just here at Arsenal.
There you go. Would you like me to sign this shirt?
90% of our idols when we were kids were all Arsenal players. Now to play for the club, be here, being able to represent part of that history and hopefully create more feels really special.
Arsenal look to create early doors, or a mistake by Fallon Tullis-Joyce. And the only goal for Arsenal, Chloe Kelly.
With a total of 63 major honours, they're statistically the most successful women's team in history. The biggest takings in the club shop came on a women's match day last season, not on a men's.
Rewind back to those days, never would have imagined that Arsenal women would be playing all of their WSL games at Emirates. Never would have even imagined in those days that they would have played at Highbury. And it just felt and was the right thing to do to invest in girls and women's football.
And that support extends beyond fans to club legends such as Thierry Henry.
Hello.
At the time, and being local as well, I just don't think we ever dreamed that it would happen for us. At school, everyone said you're never going to do it, you're never going to play football, and we proved everyone wrong.
And it's worth remembering those words that ended that report in 1988.
And if there are any women out there that do want to join Michelle and Sarah, don't get in touch with us, get in touch with Arsenal, and eventually one day there might be women playing at Highbury.
Well, funny you should say that. They are at the Emirates this weekend.
Indeed, John Watson there. And just before we go to the weather, how's this for a wedding proposal? Brixton record shop owner Ben Ball popping the question as reggae choir sang Love Me Forever. He went all out for his partner Kea And I should add, she did say yes, so congratulations to the happy couple. And with that, it's time for a check on the weather with Ben. And I know we need the rain, but pretty windy out there too.
Absolutely, Riz. You might not have said yes to today's weather because, yes, we do need the rain, but we've had quite a lot of it today. Some really heavy downpours. That was how it looked for one of our weather watchers in Surrey earlier on this morning. The sun did put in an appearance as well, but it was pretty windy out there. For tomorrow, there are more heavy showers in the forecast, but probably not as many as we've had today. A few more sunny spells in the mix. So today, yes, we did have some pretty wet weather that moved through at times, some heavy thundery downpours, some bright or sunny spells. Now, the heaviest of those showers have mostly cleared away now. We do just have this line of heavy showers pushing across the London area at the moment. But generally speaking, over the next few hours, things will dry up. There'll be some clear spells overnight. But then actually, by the start of tomorrow morning, I think we will see a few more heavy showers just starting to drift up from the south. Overnight lows around 10 to 13 degrees. So that's how things look as we wake up on Thursday morning. And actually for the morning commute, we could see some pretty heavy showers and thunderstorms drifting through. They will clear. Then we'll see some sunshine, still some showers around into the afternoon, but not as many. The story is one of things drying out a little bit, I think, by the end of the day. Temperatures, well, a little bit lower than they have been, 17, 18 or 19 degrees. Now, let me show you Friday's weather, because Friday certainly does look like a drier day, probably the driest day of the week for many of us. A few showers popping up, a bit of patchy cloud, but not a bad day. Some spells of sunshine and actually starting to feel a little bit warmer with those temperatures up to around 21 degrees. And that sets us up certainly for the first half of the weekend, because high pressure will be with us for Saturday. Southerly winds bringing some warm air across our area. But by Sunday, we see low pressure swinging back in from the west, a weather front which is likely to bring some rain as we go through the day on Sunday, and it will turn quite windy again as well. So Friday, Saturday are our drier days. Sunday will bring some outbreaks of rain. And then as we head into next week, things actually look decidedly unsettled. Low pressure will often be in charge. There will be some rain. There will also be some brisk winds, and it will turn a little bit cooler as well. That's how it's looking. Back to you, Rich.
What's known as a mixed bag, Ben. Thank you. And that's it from us this Wednesday. Thanks very much for watching. More on our website, of course. And Aaron Paul is back on BBC Radio London Breakfast from 6 a.m. tomorrow morning. And I'm in the chair on Friday morning, if you fancy joining me. From all of us on the team, whatever you're doing, do have a lovely evening. Bye-bye.